First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that teaching the truth and sincerity across the four winds of the earth. And to the other brothers that come in the same spirit of Yahweh, by Yahweh Shai, like the Shalom. And to the large remnant, men, women, and children, which is known as the speckled bird that looks like the heathen nations, but are Hebrew Israelites, like the Shalom. So before I get into this quick video, for a disclaimer for YouTube, so it won't strike me, I just got off of work. I'm playing music in the background. I do not own the rights to this music, and I'm not getting paid any type of money for doing these videos. So like I say, this music is just for my relaxation. Okay, so now, you know, you have certain brothers that's going around in these camps, in certain particular camps, you know, teaching that we are in the new covenant, you know, and these wacky-tacky Christians, you know, they hear that and they just lap that up, you know, just like a lap dog. But you know, like the Most High say, I'm gonna speak on it for a second, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I want to make it quick as possible. You know, in any type of way, because you have new sheep coming in these last days, you know, and seeking for the truth, and they being misled, you know, by individuals that's not teaching the correct and true doctrine. And so the Most High, you know, Yahweh Shai, hey, I mean, he don't want his little one to be misled. And you brothers that's teaching this false doctrine and it don't line up with the scriptures, hey, the Most High gonna deal with you. But I can actually pull two scriptures if the Spirit is dealing with an individual. It's just plain as day. But I'm gonna save these two scriptures, but I'm gonna kind of jump around and read a few scriptures for the new covenant. So we're not in full effect in the new covenant. So we're in between the old covenant and the new covenant. But the new covenant is not established yet. See, in the spirit world, yeah. And when Yahweh Shai HaMashiach come back, but right now, as we in these sinful bodies, no. And these scriptures are going to back it up. So first, in case there's a newcomer coming in these last days, the new covenant is only for the 12 tribes of the house of, just say Israel. So going to the book of James 1:1. James, a servant of God, and the Lord HaMashiach Yahushua, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Okay, now the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and we're going to find out who the 12 tribes are. It's a particular curse that only fit the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. No other race of people. The new covenant, and start with the old covenant, as Moses brought our people out of the land of ancient, just say Egypt. Okay, the old covenant, it was for us, the Hebrew Israelites, and the new covenant, it says as well. Okay, so now we're going to prove, just in case there's a newcomer listening. So we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy. Like I say, a quick impromptu video that the Spirit hopped on me to put up this quick video, in case a newcomer that's coming in the last minute. And okay, so we'll go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. And like I just said, James 1:1, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Okay, so now we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all nations, among Salakia, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there shall serve other gods, which neither thy nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. That's going into the idols. Christianity is the main idol, idol worship, and just say Islam, and etc. and etc. Everything that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans like to worship, they're going to jump on idols. Okay, so now we're going to okay. So we prove James 1:1 is only talking to the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. We are the only race or nation of people that got that got scattered abroad via the transatlantic slave trade, sub-Saharan slave trade, silk trade, and chattel slave trade. Okay, now I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 60. Okay, Salaki. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Okay, the first time that the children of Israel got transported out of just Israel to the land of just ancient Egypt. It was on foot. So that was in walking distance. Okay, now I'm gonna read it again. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So what are they talking about? Into Egypt again with ships. If you go to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8, I'm not going to pull it. And our dead body shall lie in that city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. It's spiritual Sodom and Egypt because they take up all the customs, Salakia, of the ancient Egyptians. Okay, so it's a spiritual Sodom Egypt. Okay, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way there was I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that word buy means redeem you. No man will come back and no man shall buy you, mean redeem. Okay, means savior for the house of the children, for the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. We are the only nation of people that need a savior. We are the only nation of people that have been scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth via the slave trades. Okay, now, the covenant is only for the 12 tribes of the house of Israel, the new covenant. So I'm going to pull another one. I'm going to get into these few scriptures to prove that the new covenant is not in effect yet. So we're going to prove this. Okay, so we're going to go to, let's go to Joel chapter 2 and verse 27. It's all about the children of Israel. Okay? And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God and none else. And my people shall not be ashamed. Okay, so this new covenant that I'm about to pull these few precepts and get into, and proving that the new covenant is not in effect yet. So I got to prove again, because the newcomers, the newcomers constantly coming in. Let's go to Psalms 147, proving that the covenant, the new covenant, the old covenant and the new covenant is only for the children of Israel. Okay, I'm going to the book of Psalm, chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob. Who is Jacob? The name got changed into Israel. The rest with the angel, and the Most High Yahweh changed his name to Jacob. He had 12 sons, 12 progenitors, which birthed the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. He showed his word unto Jacob. So the 12 tribes, we are Jacob. His statute was his statute, the law, statutes, and commandments. His statute and his judgment unto Israel. He had not dealt so in the nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So now we established through the scriptures that the Most High Yahweh is only dealing with the 12 tribes of the house of Israel, no other nation. Okay, so now we're going to get into this new covenant, where you have teachers that going around teaching false doctrine, saying that we're in the new covenant, but we're not in the new covenant. It's been established already in the kingdom when Yahweh Shai came in and put his body on the line as a living sacrifice. It was finished then, but he went up into the heaven, back on the right-hand side of Yahweh, his father, and he drew out the blueprint. Okay, so now, that's when you say that it is finished. So now we're going to let's go to the book of John. We're going to start with John, 1 John. Like I say, I'm going to try to keep this up under 30 minutes. 1 John chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 2. Now, beloved, now are we the sons of God. I'm going to read it verbatim. The sons of God, and it doeth yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, okay, when it's coming, his second coming, when he appear, we shall be like him. For we shall see him as he is. And every man that had this hope in him purifies himself, even as he is pure. He is pure, Yahushua. Yahweh is pure and Yahushua is pure. Okay, now I'm going to read it again. 1 John chapter 3, I'm going to start at verse 2. Beloved, now, we are the sons of God. He's talking about the elect, the hopeful elect. The elect, just the 1/3 right now. And the 144 that's combining with, I said the 1/3. And do it, okay, Salakia. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it do not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. So now, when a Yahushua, he's immortal, the firstborn, with all powers, spiritual, supernatural body. Okay, so if the scriptures say that we will be like him, when he shall appear, we shall see him, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. So how can this filthy, immortal body, it has to be pure before you can contain the law, statutes, and commandments. We are in this flesh right now. We have 613 laws. So the people that's teaching this false doctrine, so you mean to tell me right now in this mortal body, you can keep 613 laws? You can't do it. So how are we in the new covenant? Okay, now I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get to these last two scriptures. Like I say, I'm going to read a couple more just to prove that we are not in the new covenant. Like I say, I can pull Hebrews 8 through 11 and Jeremiah 31 and 31, and I mean, it'll sum everything up. But I'm going to read a few more scriptures, okay? So we're going to be like Yahushua when he appears. We can't go up on them chariots in these filthy vile bodies. It don't make no sense. So as I finish going through this little quick class for the newcomers, you're going to see that you have a lot of false teachers out there teaching lies. Okay, now I'm going to go to Philippians. And then I'm going to get to the nitty gritty. See, I'm just pulling these few scriptures. So let me go to Philippians. Let's go to Philippians chapter 3 and verse 21. Now, Philippians chapter 3 and verse 21. Okay, let me start at verse 20. Philippians chapter 3 and verse 20. For our conversation is in heaven. Okay? Thinking on the coming of the kingdom of Yahushua Mashiach return. For our conversation is in heaven. From whence also we look for the Savior, Mashiach Yahushua. Okay? In verse 21. Who shall change our vile bodies? Now let's go, okay, before I finish reading it, let's see what the word vile means. I know what it means, but let's see.
Strong's G 5014. Tapinosis.
Okay, so there's tapinosis, vile. Okay, feminine noun. Okay, etymology, Strong Dictionary. Okay, lowness, lower state. That's pretty much all it gives me. Lower state, a spiritual basement leading one to perceive and lament his moral littleness and guilt. So that vile body, okay, so who shall change our vile body? So this fleshly body, which is this mortal body, who shall change our vile body that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. So let me read that again. Philippians 3:21. Who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body? Okay? So the only way that we can inherit 613 laws and keep them perfectly, our bodies have to be changed. So the people or the individuals that teaching that we are in a new covenant, when we can't keep, we still in captivity. As they say in, I want to say Baruch 3:8, as yet this day, roughly paraphrase, that we are still in captivity this day. So how can we keep all the laws when we still in captivity? We're still up under the curse. We're subject to the curse. We're still up under the curse. Our bodies had not been changed yet. So you're saying as we are still mortals, we can keep the laws, all 613 laws. Okay, now we're fixing to find out if that's true or if it's false. Okay, now let me pull this one first. Let's get Hebrews. Let me go ahead and get to the nitty gritty. Gonna make this quick. No way that we are in the new covenant. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 8. So we're just gonna go ahead and get to the point. I'll get this tablet. Okay, there we go. Come on. Okay, Hebrews chapter 8. Okay, here we go. Hebrews 8:8. Now this is how we know that we're not in the new covenant. If an individual can't get this, see, I could have pulled these two scriptures here, but I'm going to prove it. You know what? I might even cut some of them short, because these two scriptures here is going to prove it that we're not in the new covenant yet. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 8. For finding fault with them, okay, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Okay? He will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Israel is the northern kingdom. Okay? Which consists of the so-called Latinos and the so-called Puerto Ricans. Okay? And which call themselves Mexicans. And Reuben, Gad, and Simeon, okay, and et cetera, and et cetera. And Judah is the Negroid tribe, which will be called the Jews, that make up the Jews, which will be the so-called Negroes, the so-called Jamaicans, and the so-called Haitians that make up the Jews. So he said that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. You see how first, when I went to James 1:1, Revelation, Salakia, Deuteronomy 28:64, on how we got scattered among the nations, and Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68, view the slave trade. And how I went to Psalm 147, verse 19, he showed his word to Jacob, his statutes and judgment unto Israel. He had not dealt so in the nation, and as for their judgment, they have not known them. Roughly paraphrase. So only in Joel 2:27, and he said that he's only the God of the Israelites and none else. Roughly paraphrasing. So now we covered that. So now we know who the new covenant is for. Finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, will I make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers and the day when I took them out of the land of the hand. Okay, Salakia, I'm getting excited. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, which is ancient Egypt. Okay? Out of Israel going into bondage on foot, not by boats, because they continued not in my covenant, which is only given to the children of Israel. And I regarded them not, said the Lord. Okay, now in verse 10. For this is the new covenant. It's plain. For this is the new covenant. I will make with the house of Israel, we established, this is the northern kingdom. After those days, after what days? After we get beamed up in them chariots, and after the kingdom of heaven is established on earth. After those days. First being beamed up in the chariots. Okay, because you can't go up in the chariots with a mortal body. You got to be changed. Okay? For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. And after those days, said the Lord, I will put my laws in their mind. Okay? The Lord said He's going to put it. His laws in our mind. 613 laws. And I will write them in their hearts, which is our mind. A heart just pump blood through your blood vessels. And I will be to them a God, and they shall be my people. The 12 tribes of the house of Israel, which consist of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. Okay? Now, here we go. And they shall not teach. Now, this is how you know. This is a main indicator that we are not in the new covenant yet. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor. And we still teaching. It wasn't a new covenant. Okay, let me finish reading this first. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. Why did it just say, when the Most High write his laws in our hearts, that we won't teach, we won't be teaching? Every saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. So he won't be no more teaching. And we still teaching on the highways and the byways. I'm teaching right now. Some individual gonna watch this video. So how, it's self-explanatory. I could have just pulled these two scriptures. Jeremiah 31 and 31 and Hebrews chapter 8 verse 8. You see, it's just plain as day. We still teaching. The Lord said once he write the laws in our own parts, it won't be need to teach no man his neighbor. We would be needing to teach, I don't want to quote it. Let me read it. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. So are we still teaching? So we're not upon the, new covenant yet. So now let's go to Ezekiel. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 24. Going to the book of Ezekiel. Like I say, it was a quick impromptu video that the Lord put up on me to do. Ezekiel chapter 36 for a newcomer. From hearing these lies, and some of these false teachers, false prophets, they be teaching them. And the Lord, and hey, look, man, the Lord, the Lord don't like that. We're in the end days, man, and we fishing the whole filet, and praying and hoping that the Most High keep His Spirit up on us. Okay? So now, this is going to link up with Deuteronomy 28 and 64, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, James 1 and 1, okay? Joel 2 and 27, Psalm 147 verse 19, all about the children of Israel. Okay, now, so we're going to go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 24 through verse 28. For I will take you from among the heathens, from being scattered across the four winds. Yahweh said, for I will take you from among the heathen, which is the so-called white races, the Edomites, and the Elamites, the East Indians, the Hamites, okay? Just to name a few. All these nations that's over here in North America, in the North Country, right? The great melting pot where all of the nations come and feed and feast on the children of Israel, coming to lick our wounds. Okay, so that's another topic. Ezekiel 36 and 24. For I will take you from among the heathens and gather you out of all countries. How you gonna gather us out of all countries? Beaming us up in them chariots. like I say in Revelation, I want to say 11 and 12. I like to start at 11 and 11, read up, I say 11 and 12. And it link up, I want to say with Revelation 18 and 4, come up hither, you know, being beamed up in the chariots. And also go into, I want to say Isaiah 26 and 20, shut thyself into thy chambers until the indignation had well passed over, roughly paraphrasing, okay? That's being beamed up in the chariots. For I will take you from among the heathen and will gather you out of all countries. He's going to gather us by the chariots, what the world even called UFOs, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness. Okay, that clean water is that word, which now is the law, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai is going to program us. He cleansing us up. That I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness. So now we won't be, sinning anymore because we'll be perfect, these perfect bodies. I say immortality, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you. A new spirit will I put within you. So this is talking about immortality. We can't receive this in these mortal bodies. So we can't be in the new covenant. And a new heart will I give you. And a new, let me speak on this for a second. If a nigga think he in a new covenant and get beamed up on them chariots, you got to be out of your damn mind. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart, that bonehead, hard-headed, okay, that hard numbskull that Israel, we don't like to hearken, out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh, okay? And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. So the Most High going to program us, and we ain't going to have no choice but to do it. So we can't be in the new covenant if the Lord Yahweh, well, Yahweh just said, I will put my spirit within you, and you shall, and cause you, pretty much make us, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgment and do them. Do we keep all of the Most High's? No, hell no. That don't make no sense. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, the land of Israel, our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your God. We're gonna be his people. He gonna be our God, the children of Israel. So we not in the new covenant, because we still in the immortal bodies. Immortality cannot, you know what? Let me, dang it. You know what? Oh, let me read this. All right, dog. Let me read this right quick. Yeah, dog it. It's one of the main ones. You know, it might go over 30 minutes. Sorry about that. I didn't see this one. It's 1 Corinthians. It's necessary. 1 Corinthians 15. I did a little too much talking. 48. As is the earthy, such are they that are earthy. And as it is heavenly, such are they that are heavenly. And we have borne the image of the earthy, we have also bear the image of heavenly. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, neither do corruption inherit incorruption. So this corruptible body that we in this flesh, the earthly tabernacle, which is mortal bodies, you can't inherit the kingdom of heaven. And how how can you enter into the kingdom of heaven? You have to be perfect. And how you going to be perfect? Through the laws, statutes, and commandments. And how will that happen or take place? Because when the Most High Yahweh engrave them in our hearts, which is our mind. Okay? So we can't be up under the new covenant, because you can't inherit the kingdom of heaven with a mortal body, because you're going to be still going off. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall also be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. That when Yahweh come and beam us up in those chariots. And the last trump, which is the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, going to start to rain down, build a chariot, shoot laser beam. For the trump shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. They talking about the incorruptible, a body again. And we shall be changed. For this corruptible must be put on incorruptible. The mortal bodies, and this mortal must put on immortality. That's the only way that we can receive the law, statutes, and commandments. The new covenant is being programmed. So when the corruptible shall have put on incorruptible, and the mortal shall have put on immortality, they shall be brought to pass, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin. So we can't keep the laws perfectly in the immortal bodies. That's the sting of death. And the strength of sin is the law. And how is the strength of sin is the law? When we don't break none. And how are we going to do that? By Yahweh programming us. So now, for the back that up to them, now let me go ahead and read. I'm going to pull this last one. Jeremiah 31 and 31. That's the only way that we're going to make it. It's self-explanatory. If the Spirit is working with you, it's simple. Jeremiah 31 and 31. Okay, I'm going to read this and get ready to close it out. Behold, the days come, said the Lord. It's all caps Yahweh. That I will make a new covenant. It's quoting the same. It's quoting New Testament, Hebrews 8 and 8. Jeremiah 31 and 31. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, which I already explained, the so-called blacks and Spanish say natives. Okay, Israel is the northern and Judah is the southern. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said the Lord Yahweh. But it shall be, Salakia, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days in the kingdom of heaven, which is for the 12 tribes, with the 12 gates. Said the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and will write in their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall know me from the least unto the greatest, said the Lord Yahweh, and I will forgive their iniquities, and I will remember their sin no more. You see? That's the new covenant. That's the new covenant. Okay. So I had to put my spiritual 2 cents in. The Lord put it up on me to put this quick impromptu video together. Hopefully it was edifying. You know, like I say, you know, you have new sheep coming in the fold in these last of the last days. You know, so we don't want to mislead them. So until next time, I hope this was edifying. Shalom.